parents and kids like us. It was like we had a light to show us the path ahead. Whenever new challenges came up, their guidance helped us figure out our next step. We still have tough days, but now we have direction. And I have the tools and resources I need to help my child thrive. No matter where you are on the path, Understood can help you keep moving forward. Visit understood.org/yourpath today.
Join the movement. Listen to the Tori Lowe Show on 101.7 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, the locally owned Good Karma brand station. Bringing you his authentic perspectives on important topics.
They live in suburbs together. They live in the city together. They hang out together, all in the same family. We're the only idiots that fight because we want our voice to only be on one side. Like, does that even make any sense? And when the side loses, you lose everything. They, on the other hand, have a voice no matter what because somebody that looks like them is always in control.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point.
Well, it's just a skewed system.
Of course it is.
It's a lot of judgment.
But answer my question, though. Should we let people go? Should we let people go? Like, let's just forget about bail altogether. And if your neighbor commits a homicide and kills people up, if you kill people and they next to you and you just let them come back and live right next to you, they can live upstairs from you. Let them come in your house.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point. This is the best radio show in the state of Wisconsin. Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 101.7 The Truth and The Truth app.
Now, he's the mayor of the city of Milwaukee. He's a young man. Give him a chance. I only complain about things that I care about. What I want you to do is pretend like I'm in St. Louis. And all I'm asking the mayor and the Common Council president and the Common Council, show me.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is Dr. Ken Harris.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. If you have anything you want to say, anything you want to get off your chest, and anything that is on your mind. Remember, you can always go to YouTube at 1017thetruth.com and watch us here live. Just make sure you click the notification bell so that you can get notified each and every time we are absolutely positively live for, I can't count, 11 hours during the day. Yeah, that's that public school math. So I keep telling y'all about it, but nobody ever believes me. Did anybody get awakened right quick? I just got to hit that right quick. I got awakened this morning to the wonderful, I called it an air raid siren, but I tried to remind somebody that's what it was when we were younger because we had the threat of, nuclear war and all that stuff. So, but people laughed at me. It's a tornado warning. It's emergency management. So we're going to go with emergency management today. All right? We're going to go with emergency management. I got a great show coming up for you because, I kept complaining and talking about mentoring. And so I have the executive director of Mentor Greater Milwaukee coming in. And so he just looked at me like, you going to get the name right this time? I'm like, yeah. He's part of our Truth Roundtable. So, I get to beat him up today and talk about all the stuff we're not supposed to talk about and go down roads that we're not supposed to go. Just do normal. As a reminder, today is my next to the last day being here. I am taking Thursday and Friday off, but that does not mean you do not have to be here to listen to the rebroadcast, because, give Zach a day off or 2 or 3 or 10. So, with that. It's tough. We're going to be talking about mentoring. We're going to be talking about how you do things yourself. We're all, people consider me, I don't consider me successful, but I know a lot of people that consider me successful. And as you age, people start to show respect, as I did when I was their age, and say, "Good morning, sir," "No, sir." And sometimes it throws me for a loop, like, "Sir?" Like, my name is Ken. And some people have trouble with that. Like, usually it's new graduates who graduate, and now they have a degree, I have a degree. So they go, "Oh, Dr. Harris." I'm like, "My name is Ken." "Oh, I can't call you that." Well, we're both adults. We both graduated from college. I don't understand why. And it takes a while for them to understand, because you have imposter syndrome. You feel like you've made something and you've created something and you've done something. But part of that is we live in a culture of self-made myths and lone wolf success stories. We hear it all, but nobody really makes it alone. For me, not the CEO, the professor, the police lieutenant, the entrepreneur, somewhere along the line, somebody pulled me aside, corrected me, challenged me, or simply believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. You know what that's called? It's called mentoring. And if you're serious about growth, not just movement, not just activity, but real elevation, then mentoring literally is not optional. It's foundational and it's fundamental. Can't say the word. Fundamental. Let me give you 5 ways mentoring can change your life for the better. Number 1, mentoring gives you clarity when you're confused. Everybody at some point in their life is confused. Most people aren't stuck because they're lazy. They're stuck because they don't know which direction to move in. Too many options, too many voices, too much noise. A mentor can cut through all that. They've walked the walk. They've walked the road you're trying to figure out. They can tell you that path, dead end. That one, it'll cost you more than you think. The one right here, that's the one where your effort pays off. That kind of clarity can save you years, if not months. Now, let me throw that out. It'll save you years. Number 2, mentoring accelerates your growth. You can learn everything the hard way, like most young folks want to do today. Trial and error, mistakes, setbacks, rebuilding, or you can compress that time. You could waste it doing all that other stuff. But a mentor, watch this, lets you borrow their experience. They give you lessons that you didn't have to earn or learn the painful way. In other words, they shorten the learning curve. And in a world where time is the one thing you can never get back, that's going to matter. Number 3, mentoring holds you accountable. See, everybody loves support until you put guardrails and standards with it. A real mentor, and let me not say real, because you either are a mentor or you are not a mentor. A mentor doesn't just pat you on the back, they call you out. They ask you questions that you've been avoiding. Like, why didn't you follow through? Are you serious about this, or are you just talking? Is this your best, or just what you're willing to settle for? It's uncomfortable, but it's necessary, because without it, people drift. They drift through life. They make excuses. They lower the bar just enough to feel good. Like social media makes us feel. But never enough to get better. A mentor won't let you hide from yourself. Now, number 4, mentoring expands your perspective. You have to admit, even at my age, someone that's 10 or 20 years older has more perspective. Mentoring expands your perspective. You're limited by what you've seen, by what you've experienced, and quite possibly what you believe. A mentor can stretch that. They introduce new ways of thinking, new networks, new expectations, help you realize that the life you thought was out of reach It just might be out of exposure. And once your perspective changes, you can't go back to thinking small. And then finally, number 5, mentoring builds confidence the right way. Not fake social media confidence, not loud performative confidence, but confidence. The kind that comes from preparation and correction, repetition, and growth. A mentor doesn't just tell you you're good, they make you better. And when you know you've done the work, when you know you've been sharpened, when you know you've been tested, you walk different, you talk different, you lead different. That's because you are different. You know, bottom line, mentoring is not comfortable. And if your mentor never challenges you, they're not mentoring you, they're managing your feelings. And if your mentor never corrects you, then they're actually not invested in your growth. They're invested in being liked. And if you only seek mentors that agree with you, you're not looking for guidance. You're looking for validation. And that is not going to change your life. If you have a mentor, the right one will frustrate you sometimes. They will push you. They will stretch you. They'll demand from you more than you thought you had to give. Now let's flip that coin over. What's on the other side of that? Growth and direction and a version of you that you probably wouldn't have reached on your own. So the question is, and what we'll explore today, whether mentoring works. But the real question we need to answer for ourselves is, are you humble enough to receive it? Are you disciplined enough to apply it? And are you committed enough to stick with it even when it challenges your ego? Mentoring doesn't change what you do. It changes who you become. And once that happens, everything else starts to follow. The right mentor, hear me now, the right mentor will not make your path easy, but they will make it possible. And in a world where too many people are trying to figure it out by themselves alone, that might just be the difference between staying where you are and becoming who you're meant to be. Who is that? You.
And that is Dr. Ken's Truth on the new 1017 The Truth. Truth Nation, it's that time again for the Tory Low Community Cleanup. Mark your calendars for Saturday, April 18th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. as we come together to clean up the city of Milwaukee. Be part of making a difference in our community. The Tory Low Community Cleanup, Saturday, April 18th, 8 to noon. Sponsored by Milwaukee College Prep, Steinhoffels, Cousin Subs, Waste Management, and presented by the Milwaukee Metropolitan Sewerage District, your clean water partner serving Greater Milwaukee for 100 years.
Our children deserve a real chance to make it in life, and a good education is a passport to opportunity. At City Ford Collective, we're working to make sure there's a great Milwaukee school for every Milwaukee family, because more good options lead to better outcomes. And who doesn't want that? Together, we can give every child the foundation they need to thrive, and a stronger future for kids means a stronger future for Milwaukee. To learn more about our mission, visit us at cityfordcollective.org. That's cityfordcollective.org.
Still think you're going to use those old chemicals just sitting around under the sink, in the garage, or down in the basement? So don't let them sit there. Get rid of them right away. To MMSD's Home Hazmat Drop-Off Centers. It's safe, it's easy, and it's open to all Milwaukee County residents. There are 3 locations open year-round. The Tory Low Community Cleanup is happening April 18th, and with a mobile drop-off to help you clear out that waste. Visit us at MLK Elementary School at 3275 North 3rd Street from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Let's clean up Milwaukee.
People don't realize that glaucoma is one of the leading causes of blindness.
Because there are often no early symptoms, nearly half of those with glaucoma may not even know they have it until vision loss has occurred.
I was diagnosed with normal tension glaucoma in July of 2020. And what we found out at that point was I had already lost 40% of my sight. You think it only affects people that are, 75 or older, retired, grandparents, and that's not the reality of it.
I didn't think at all glaucoma was going to affect me because I didn't know of anyone that had glaucoma, no one in my family. When you have glaucoma, you can't get back that sight that you lost. And so early detection and treatment is vitally, vitally important.
Don't miss life's most beautiful moments. Schedule an eye exam today.
National Glaucoma Research, a Bright Focus Foundation program, offers free resources and tips for healthy vision.
Learn how to protect your sight at stopglaucoma.org.
Hi, I'm Priscilla Presley. My love for animals began when I was 5 years old. That sparked a lifelong commitment to speak up for animals who can't speak for themselves. Elvis and I supported American Humane Society because your compassion can change a life. American Humane Society strengthens the bond between humans and animals. Please visit AmericanHumane.org to learn more. Thank you.
More of Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. Always remember, you can text us with any questions to Mr. Linnell Ramey. I almost elevated him to doctor.
Come on.
And or you can hit us on the YouTube chat at 101.7 The Truth. Let me check in right quick and take attendance because, y'all be getting kind of rowdy up in here. Hey, what's up, Quanda? How's it going? Sincere Ronnie Ray Real. That's a long name. Sincere Ronnie Ray Real. Wonder what's behind that. Hey, what's up, Mark and Kathleen? Obavan. Willie. Crystal, what's going on? You gonna argue today, Crystal? I'm looking forward to it. Come out. Come out. Lucretia. Hey, Mao. Mao was tripping yesterday, boy. He was on something yesterday. He was like, yeah, Mao is the male Crystal. Crystal disagrees with everything I say. She keeps me honest, right?
That sounds like you though.
Quanda be like, I'm calling your wife. Like, what? What's that? What? Wait, what? And then SC and Curly Q, they be whooping up on me, but I'm just. So my guest today is none other the magnanimous, the ubiquitous, the tremendous executive director of Mentor Greater Milwaukee, and that's Mr. Linnell Ramey. What is your Master of Arts in?
Public administration.
All right. And that's exactly what you do. That's what's up. That's what's up. So this whole mentoring thing.
Yes. That
just has me weirded out. So we talk about it a lot.
Right.
But before we get before we dive in, tell me about you. Tell me about what you do. Mentor Greater Milwaukee. What's all that about?
Absolutely. So I've been doing youth development, social service, community work, you name it, since about 1994.
Why so many names?
Because, it varies depending on what road you're on.
Everybody calls it something different because it's going to be better, and it ends up being the...
Because some people label me as only a youth guy.
Right.
Because I work Boys and Girls Club.
Right.
Did BLMA. Others have said, no, he's social service because I worked at New Concept. So I had a lot of hats. But at the end of the day, I'm community driven, been doing this stuff for a long, long time. I jokingly was having a conversation yesterday with someone. I wrote my first mentoring program in 1994.
Wow.
Yeah, so I've been around the game a long time. So Mentor Greater Milwaukee, think about us as an advocacy. I also like to call it the cheerleaders for mentoring, right? So we have three key priorities I like to let people know. The first thing is, how do we advocate? How do we remind people the importance of mentoring? Like you said earlier, no one got to where they are today by themselves.
Right.
And that's what we like to remind people, talk about, and then lift mentors up in that space. The other thing we like to do is really, how do we build capacity of organizations who provide mentorship, right? So whatever that looks like, whether you're a Big Brothers Big Sisters, Boys and Girls Club, Northwestern Mutual, right? What can we do to support you so you're ensuring that anyone that you have that says they're doing mentoring is doing it in the right way?
Well, what is that though? Let me let you go. We'll get to that later.
Then the third thing is really recruitment. So we have a database where we support about 102 programs throughout Milwaukee and surrounding areas and a few throughout the state, where someone can go to our website, which is MilwaukeeMentor.com,
right,
and select become a mentor, and then they can see some of the programs that we work with based on the information they share, some basic information, zip code, your name, and what kind of mentoring do you want to do, right? So, again, our job is to get mentors into the space of where the organizations currently are, because we want to make sure that community members are engaged in their own communities by being a mentor. So that's who we are. That's what I do. Other than that, full-time husband, full-time father, full-time grandfather. So
you recruit mentors?
We help recruit. Yes, we do.
For organizations?
For organizations.
Why is that important?
Well, one, because, sometimes people... I tell this story all the time. A lot of times people become mentors by word of mouth. So you and I are sitting somewhere having lunch. I say I'm a mentor at X organization. You say, I want to get involved. And I say, you know what? Come over to where I'm at. You come to where I'm at. You find out it doesn't fit your schedule or it doesn't work for you or whatever. Now you're done with it because you tried, right? What we feel like what our database does is allow mentors to review organizations by themselves, right? They can, versus Googling a bunch of them, it's all in the database based on what you say. You say, I want to do one-on-one mentoring, working with first-time college students. You put that criteria in the website, it'll show you the programs we partner with. Again, it's important because mentors need to feel like they call it safe space too when they're a mentor. So that helps them find the space that they're in. So
when you say safe space, you mean taking all those ingredients into account. My time, what I want to do, who I want to do, boy, girl.
Especially if you're new to it, right? Because you want to come in as comfortable as we want the young people to be as well. I always say a mentor should come in as their best self. And their best self is them being able to say, I really have experience in this. And then the growth of that mentor is being able to say, hey, I want to mentor any kid, it doesn't matter. But for us, the starting point is, what do you want to do, or who would you like to work with, and how can we align you with that program or those youth?
And so if you want information on it, text mentor, MENTOR, to 833-212-1017, and you'll get the link to the website. And then you can go from there.
Amen.
All right.
Well, yes.
So an introduction to mentoring. So I want to be a mentor. I walk in.
Yep.
What do you do? Do you tell me what?
A couple things. So we like to start with everybody knowing 3 critical elements to being a good mentor, right? The first thing I tell people is you have to be vulnerable. Right? You were talking a little bit earlier about being able to have conversation.
My business ain't none of your business.
Yeah, but here's the deal, though. But you talked about your experience help someone get to the next level easier. Sometimes that requires a little vulnerability, right?
So I got to tell you my failures too?
You got to talk about it, because that's the problem we have. We get our titles, we get our degrees, we get our good jobs, and all of a sudden we want to be just that person.
Why are you picking on me?
I'm picking on self first, because I had to have that conversation with me. Like, I had to tell all of Linnell, like, if somebody may call me JoJo stories too, right? Like,
yeah, I got some JoJo stories.
Like, so I think vulnerability is critical for a mentor, because again, when a young person knows that you're willing to open up, it's easier for him or her to open up, right? The second thing I like to tell people is connected to that is you do have to have that willingness to share your entire story, right? You having an abbreviated version of yourself, i.e. the one that got the degrees, that, didn't get in trouble no more, didn't have any police contact no more, got married, living life, that's a portion of who you are. If you're talking to a 14-year-old who has no clue on what to do or where to go or what to be, you got to remember 14-year-old self, right? You got to talk about that time you was in the principal office for acting a fool too, right? So vulnerability is important, a commitment to sharing your story. And then the final one I tell people, and some people cringe when I say it, but I'll say it out loud, you have to have a commitment to cultural humility and cultural competence. But here's the thing. People get caught up when I say that sometimes as just race or just male, female. It has to do where I grew up in. Like, you're from Chicago, right? If somebody says, I'm from Chicago, it's a little different from North Side Chicago and South Side Chicago.
Totally. So I got to find out where you're from. West Side Chicago.
Because that's a different culture, right?
And most people say that they're from Chicago are not. they're from a suburb.
They're from Gurney and all that stuff. But don't get me started with that. But culture is who makes you up, right? It's your upbringing. Where did you go to school? Were you in private school, public school? Were you a student at a high level? Like, did you get raised in a two-parent household? That all is culture. So if I'm in front of a young person, I have to have a commitment to try to figure out, okay, where is he or she from? Right. Let me learn who they are. Let me figure out where I can connect it, because sometimes I may just not understand. And that's okay. It's sometimes, but I have to learn. It's for me as the mentor to say, okay, I don't know nothing about that, bro, but tell me more. Okay, but how's this holding you back? Like, then we can have a real conversation when I have the openness to learn about what their culture is, i.e., everything about them. Not just and I need mentors to hear this loud and clear. It's not just the color of their skin, the fact that they're a boy or girl, they're from the hood. No, it's everything else that makes up who that young person is. You, the mentor, have a commitment to that. You can then help reach that young person where they're at.
So am I hearing that interracial mentoring can occur?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Listen, I'm going to stand on this. Mr. Thomas Wild was a teacher at Riverside University High School, the best high school in the land and country. But nonetheless, he started his teaching career my freshman year in high school. I was in his homeroom. If it wasn't for Mr. Wild, I don't apply to college.
Wow.
Even though I had two of the most phenomenal parents in the world. You knew my mom and dad. They were all about me going to school. It wasn't until he dropped an application in front of me at the desk in February of 1990. And if you
that's late.
Late.
That's like
I was graduating in June.
That's like going to community college late.
Listen, and it was
nothing against community college.
No, he gave me Morehouse College. He said, you're going to go to Morehouse.
Wow.
But he built me up for 4 years.
Yep.
Preparing me mentally like, I guess I can do this, right? Yep. And it was because of him. Now, I'm not going to say I didn't have black male mentors too. And I want to be very clear about this. When I talk mentorship, yes, I know people want to go to parents. I hear you. I got it. But when we speak about it, it's somebody out the home. And the reason we say that of is important is because kids who come up with phenomenal parents need encouragement outside the home too.
Correct.
They need reinforcement outside the home too.
Your parents don't know nothing.
They don't know everything.
Even though they're smarter than you, older than you,
and the mentor can say the exact same thing the parents
say. And it'll be the smartest thing in the world. Oh my God, that was so great.
So when people say like, you say, well, tell me your mentor story. It's like, well, my mom and my dad, like, that's phenomenal. Give me somebody else. Because somebody else took what your parents did and treated it like a relay race, took the baton and said, hey, your mom and dad said, you know what? I was talking to mom and dad, and they mentioned, and you sitting there like, dang, okay. And that's why, like I said, back to interracial, there's absolutely space for interracial mentoring. However, I also learned that same race mentoring also helps tremendously grow when you're thinking about sometimes the journey and the shared issues that are faced by sometimes certain populations.
833-212-1017 is the number. Mr. Linnell Ramey, who is the executive director of Mentor Greater Milwaukee, is here. If you have any questions about mentoring, how to become a mentor, where to look, how to do it, are you scared? What are your mentoring experiences? Give us a call or hit us on the YouTube chat at 101.7 The Truth on YouTube. When we come back, the history and models of mentoring, because where did this come from? Where did it start? And why do we have so many different ways to do it? You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. And now with 101.7 The Truth traffic, here's Debbie Lazaga.
Bit of an issue on northbound 175 or Brewers Boulevard. There is a crash just before you get to National Avenue on the northbound side there. The right lane is blocked, so we got backup stretching back past Burnham, so careful with that. We've got an accident on 894 southbound right about at just south of Beloit Road. Looks like the right lane is blocked with that one as well, so we got backup stretching back past Beloit. Northbound 41 heavy from Wisconsin Avenue all the way up to Burleigh. And southbound 43 backing up from just south of Silver Spring down to Locust. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today, partly cloudy skies, warm and humid. Afternoon thunderstorms likely, a high of 73. Tonight, storms likely, some may be strong, a low of 52. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 101.7 The Truth.
Sweet Talks Medical Spa in Menominee Falls. Skip the sterile clinical office feel. Sweet Talk stays on the cutting edge of beauty and wellness innovations in a vibrant, playful space, promoting self-love and confidence. Sweet Talk specializes in a range of treatments, including injectables, medical-grade skincare, weight loss, hormone therapies, and more. Not sure where to start? Sweet Talks offers comprehensive wellness consultations to create a customized plan centered around you. Because at Sweet Talks, your goals are their goals. Learn more at sweettalks.com.
Hi, I'm Greg Fritsch, president of the Center for Veterans Issues, inviting you to get involved in supporting the CVI mission. The Center for Veterans Issues is proud to serve veterans across Wisconsin. Each year, we help more than 1,200 veterans stay housed, find meaningful employment, and connect with the support they've earned. From housing assistance and job training to case management and suicide prevention outreach, our team is here to help veterans build stable, independent lives. If you're a veteran in need of support, visit cvivet.org. Donations can also be accepted at cvivet.org/donate.
Tap into the best power hour in radio in Milwaukee.
So altogether, you're looking at $1,780 for your mortgage and for your property taxes in a year. And that's before you have to deal with, obviously, your water bill and electric bill. That's a steep price that people have to pay. And based off those numbers I just ran, to afford a home like that, you got to make $65,000 a year. But the problem is, here in Milwaukee, the median household income is only $54,234. That's out of whack. So again, I am all about affordability. I'm all about people getting homes. But what we have to understand is that until homes are more affordable, you can have a supply and demand problem, but the problem that we have here in the city of Milwaukee is that these prices, when people are listing these houses, they're listing them for prices that people really can't afford. And even if you do get the house and you're paying that, you're living paycheck to paycheck. Home ownership is not about living paycheck to paycheck. Home ownership is about finding something that fits within your budget and building equity for the future.
Catch Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace every weekday from noon to 1 p.m. on 101.7 The Truth and The Truth app.
I take care of the kids, and I take care of my dad. I take care of things at work. The groceries, the cleanups, the meltdowns, the doctor's visits, the family events, mealtimes, bedtimes. I take care of all the things everyone else needs. But I haven't made time to take care of what I need.
Family caregivers are often overloaded. It can feel overwhelming and exhausting. It's no surprise that millions of caregivers experience symptoms of anxiety and depression every year. But help is available, because there may only be one you, but you don't have to do it alone. Head to mentalhealthcareworks.org. That's mentalhealthcareworks.org to learn how to get the support you deserve, because mental health care works when you make the call. If you're experiencing a mental health crisis or thoughts of suicide, dial 988, a message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
This True Sports Update is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Andrew Zimmel. The Brewers return from a day off, starting a 3-game series tonight against the Toronto Blue Jays. The Crew look to snap a 5-game losing streak, but injuries continue to pile up. Manager Pat Murphy this morning on 620 discussing All-Star Christian Yelich's injury.
Got an adductor strain, which is kind of at the attachment point above the hamstring. That's gonna put him on the IL, and we're going to make sure that that doesn't become chronic, and we get after it. So we expect him to be out for a while.
Milwaukee's ace Jacob Mizorowski starts tonight for Milwaukee. A 6:40 pitch at American Family Field. Coverage begins at 6 p.m. And the NBA playoffs begin tonight with the play-in games. The Miami Heat take on the Charlotte Hornets in the 9 versus 10 place game. And later, the Portland Trailblazers take on the Phoenix Suns to fight for 7th and 8th place in the West. This True Sports Update was powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Andrew Zimmel.
This is Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. My guest is Linnell Ramey, Executive Director of Mentor Greater Milwaukee. Not to be confused with Greater Milwaukee Mentors and But what other names I use, and I'll kind of.
You ain't the only one. Sometimes some people leave off the mentor. That shocks me.
Greater Milwaukee. Wait, what?
Wait a minute.
And so before the break, we were talking about the introduction and becoming a mentor and all that. But I want to talk about the history and the models. Like, what is the history? Like, where did it even come from? How do we figure out we needed mentoring, or anybody for that matter?
Well, you go back to the proverb, right? It takes a village, right? And that has always been the case. And, I'll tell this quick story. When I was in my Boys and Girls Club days, there was a gentleman who was legendary. He opened the Challengers Boys and Girls Club, and if you know that, familiar, that's in L.A., Compton area, right? Familiar because that's where the Venus and Serena played tennis and learned to play tennis. Well, he got involved because in his neighborhood, he noticed young people just hanging out. Sounds familiar, full circle, but you know what he did? He had a pickup truck. He would drive around the community, say, hey, who want to go ball? Who want to go do this? Who want to go do that? Throw them in his pickup truck and started doing activities.
Back when you could put people in the
back. That's right. You got to get that waiver now. It's a whole other story. But I jokingly say that, and then so that then led to him opening Challengers. Yeah. Another similar story, again, using my Boys and Girls Club hat, it's how the Boys and Girls Club started. They realized they had some young kids running around the neighborhood, and so they said, you know what, we got to do something. So what they did was they baked some cookies. They said, hey, if you come in here and read this book, you can have some cookies. Now, this was in the 1800s, right? So it goes further and further back. But I said all this that it always existed. It's the how, and it's the, I like to also use this word that people don't like. It's the confidence now to do it. Right. Because we have instilled, unfortunately, adults to be scared of our kids, right? Like, in every way, in every aspect, people think mentorship is for some crazy, wilding out young person who has put the fear of Jesus in kids, right? That's why when you think about levels and layers of mentoring, there is group mentoring. There's one-on-one mentoring.
Right.
You add in what I like to say what COVID created was e-mentoring, right? But these layers have been created because what we found over time is that sometimes young people need to be around their peers to open up effectively, right? Capacity. We found out one-on-one was one of the most difficult because you and I already are busy on a weekly basis. How many young men can we mentor truly, right? Like one-on-one, right? But that's been a staple of Big Brother, Big Sister, who has been very effective in creating that mentor. But they even too have morphed a little bit into a new 2.0, so to speak, to ensure that all young people find someone. So historically, mentoring has happened across all worlds, all countries rather, since the day of time, because it's always been the concept, it takes a village. It's the how and where things have magnified. I would like to say in this social media era, we have done a terrible job, terrible from a mentor standpoint, right, of claiming our young kids' minds through social media because they don't like to follow us. We don't like to follow them. So content is made for just them. Content is made just for us. When good stuff do come out, people don't reshare that. You can tell what they call that with some of the analytics. So you can just tell that. So historically, there's always been kind of these ways mentoring has tried to morph. It's the fear sometimes and the confidence for people to step in and do it that really throws people off. So
833-212-1017 is the number if you have any questions on mentoring. Speaking of questions, Mr. Wright, you're on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
Good evening, afternoon. How you guys doing?
Good.
Well, sir, doing well.
Dr. Ken, man, I'd just like to start out and say, man, I listen to you all the time on my way home, man, from doing my little work, man. I'm self-employed. I've been running my business now for 10 years, man. I come from the hood, and I want to be a mentor, man. Sometimes I don't feel like I'm qualified enough to mentor. I have just recently got involved with the Cage because they had some youth there, and I was, hoping that I can, but it's not giving me like what I feel, I should be doing. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's different, man. So I just want to be helpful, man, to somebody like it was helpful to me. I started out when I was 21, man. I met an entrepreneur, and he kind of told me, his lifestyle and what it means to be an entrepreneur, man. And that point on, I knew what it was I wanted to do. Now, it took me a long time to get where I wanted to get to. You know, like I said, I'm 52 now, man. I've been doing business like the right way, I feel like, for 10 years now. But ever since 21, I always had that entrepreneur spirit. You know what I mean? I have created a lot of businesses that have failed, or I didn't set them up right. You know what I mean? I had so many different companies, man, you know, just trying to do what I thought was best, but never knowing, you know, and I feel like I finally got things together now, and I just want to give back, man. But like I said, sometimes I don't feel like I'm worthy. I don't know how to get back. You know, I just don't know how to start or where to start at.
So a couple things. First of all, brother, I appreciate the call, and I appreciate your willingness to do it. But you already said a couple things. One, you already said that you went to the cage where Andre Lee Ellis is and said that you wanted to start there because there were some young men you can mentor. That's the start of it, right? Here's the thing about it. You also said this, you don't feel qualified. Brother, you are a success story walking. You just talked about your journey and how you had to overcome. It didn't happen overnight. That makes you qualified. And I promise you, if you even thought back prior to when you turned 21, I bet you will find somewhere in like your early teens, late mid-teens, someone talked to you about what did you want to do in career. You probably were thinking about entrepreneurship way before 21. It was just probably when you met the right mentor that you realized that you can do it. And I think that's what sometimes hangs people up from being a mentor is they think about all the things they did wrong, because then they don't know what to say, quote unquote, the right thing. That's why I keep saying it's you sharing your entire story. It's you talking about at 13 I was doing this, selling waters or cutting grass. I'm making that up, right?
Man, that was crazy.
Yeah, you know, but when you think about it, it was like, but when I got 21 and I met that person, that's when it clicked. That's when you realized this is what I want to do. Now, it took you some time to get it right, like you said, but that's okay. Because I believe in this. And Dr. Ken, I meant to say this earlier. Everybody should be surrounded by multiple mentors. It shouldn't be one person that young people are going to.
Right.
When they go to school, there should be someone in that building that acts as a mentor.
You need a board of directors.
Thank you. That's our grown way of saying it. But kids need that too, because when they're in their neighborhoods. When I grew up, there was always somebody, an OG, sitting on the front porch. And if you was walking down the street and you was on one, he was going to say something to you. And he was going to tell you at the end of the conversation, he was going to say, and I'm going to tell your mom and your daddy. When I went to school, had a principal that always looked out. That's the concept of mentorship. So not having one, it's multiple people surrounded. So, brother, first of all, you are qualified. You have a story. You are a success story. Utilize that. Keep talking about that. But in the same vein, you want to share how you got there. And the cage is a great place to start with Andre Lee Ellis because he acts like Pops anyway to everybody. So, he going to snap out on them young dudes in a heartbeat, but he going to show them some love in the same breath. So that's a good place to be and start.
And so how does he get help coming to MentorMilwaukee.com?
So if you go to MilwaukeeMentor.com, there's actually a place where you can say you can get training if you feel like you need something. We host workshops throughout the community. It varies, and it can be anything from what does it mean to be a mentor, or we have a training, for example, called Becoming a Better Mentor, right? So we host a number of different things to help improve with people's mindsets on what a mentor is, so they can be more equipped to serve young people in America.
And that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
that's MilwaukeeMentors.com.
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm gonna look that up right now, man. I appreciate that.
No problem, brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, take care. And if you just text 833-212-1017, the word mentor, MENTOR, it'll send you the link, and you can just hit it and go. So when we come back, I wanna close out. I'm gonna go out on a limb. Can mentoring change Milwaukee and change our youth? Because we've seen some things in the last month that I haven't seen since the George Floyd era.
Yes. It definitely can. I can't wait to have that conversation. Yes.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. Again, my guest, Linnell Ramey, Executive Director, Mentor Greater Milwaukee. If you have any questions or comments, you can hit us on the YouTube chat at 1017thetruth.com, or you can text us or call us at 833-212-1017. That is the number.
Don't touch that dial. More of Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on 1017 The Truth, the Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
In 1987, the Bucks took on the world and changed basketball forever.
At stake, basketball supremacy in the United States.
Bucks versus the World, narrated by Charlie Behrens, is the new season of Behind the Bucks podcast, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. It's the untold story of the 1987 McDonald's Open, when the Bucks became the first NBA team to face the Soviet Union. Listen now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get podcasts.
All you have is one chance after an accident, one decision on who to call, one shot to get the help you need. Don't waste it on the one offer you get from your insurance company. Make the one call to Gruber Law Offices. It's the only one you'll need to make. Call us today. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Don't miss one of Milwaukee's favorite summer traditions, the U-Path Ride for Arts, presented by Miller Lite, returns Sunday, May 31st. Ride a fully closed 20-mile course across the Hone Bridge with incredible lakefront views. Kids 12 and under ride free thanks to the Brewers Community Foundation. All in support of Southeastern Wisconsin Performing Arts. 7 a.m. start, finish at U-Path Fest on Summerfest grounds. Register today at upathride.org. That's UPAFRIDE.org.
Want to protect our planet? The air we breathe, water we drink, and land we share? Real progress begins with birds. Yes, birds. The very ones we see and hear every day. On a walk, in the park, or simply out the window. That's because birds are more than birds. They're symbols, sentinels that reveal the health of our planet and our people. And by helping them thrive, all of us thrive as well. Audubon is a place where birds matter, where habitats are protected, where communities are engaged, and where change takes flight. Because at Audubon, hope begins with birds. Progress begins with birds. It all begins with birds. Audubon.
Hurricane damage can be devastating. If you've been impacted by a hurricane, the last thing you want is to be taken advantage of. Contractors who show up immediately following a disaster could be scammers looking to make a profit off your insurance claim. They make promises that sound too good to be true to convince you to sign a contract. Don't be victimized a second time. Listen to your gut and don't be afraid to say no. If you suspect fraud, call 800-TEL-NICB, a public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
You are listening to Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. Mentoring is the topic. We have Linnell Ramey, Executive Director of Mentor Greater Milwaukee, in the studio to harass, push around.
No pushing.
Kick around.
I'm used to harassment.
Lucretia on the YouTube chat said, I am an adult achiever with the YMCA. I was an adult achiever with the YMCA Black Achievers Program. I've seen firsthand what mentors can do in the lives of youth.
Absolutely. I was part of Teen Achievers back in the day as far as I was a mentor. So, yes.
Yeah, I tried to be one, but they never called me.
We're going to figure that out.
They never called me back.
They had a couple things they were dealing with.
I think, honestly, I think what it was? I was in law enforcement.
Oh.
And the person who I know, and I could tell you their name and you would know who they are.
I know what you're talking about.
Didn't like the police.
That's a shame.
I mean, talked it up good, but they never followed through.
Yeah, that's a shame.
And I think it's unfortunate because when you talk about mentoring and when you talk about that type of thing, you can't let your personal proclivities or personal biases stop somebody else from getting help.
Absolutely.
But I can imagine over time, a lot of people have been, sidelined or skipped over based on perception.
And that's the reason, our mentoring connector to me is so important, because individuals can find a good fit for them. Because you're right, I hate to say it this way, but sometimes there's gatekeepers because they're looking for a certain type of mentor.
Right.
Right? And they end up blocking their blessings, like we like to say.
Funny you say that.
Yeah, because you end up blocking your blessings when you just go off of your own preconceived. Now, we do tell every organization, yes, you do have to do screening. Yes, you do have to do background checks. You have to do interviews.
Right.
Absolutely. And your program. But I always tell them, like, you gotta look at your mentors and see the value they bring to your table. And for you to tell me somebody said, just as a police officer, that was it. That's terrible.
Yeah.
That's god awful to me.
Yeah. So what can, before the break, I asked you the question, like, can mentoring make an impact on Milwaukee youth? We've seen over the past few weeks some weekends that were not great. Like, first it started a couple years ago with the driving and the Well, really it started COVID with you don't have to get your car licensed and pulling people over and chases and drugs but now it's morphed into this. Everybody just drives the way they want to drive, all ages. Everybody does whatever they want to do.
Yes.
Can we help these young folks in Milwaukee as it relates to using mentoring to get them to understand that their life is meaningful?
Absolutely. I think first things first, we gotta and I say we as a community have to do a better job of the stories that get told in narratives, right? So the Bay Shore takeover scenario, terrible thing that we saw. But when we hear more information and talk to the kids and specifically, it was a very small select few. Right? But if you look at it from what it showed, it was this bigger thing.
Hundreds of kids out there.
Out here fighting and tearing up stuff.
13 people got arrested.
Thank you. And so I said that to say is, can mentoring help? Yes, because we have to have what we like to say at Mentor is a mentoring mindset. Which means even if I don't say I'm assigned this young person, how are we communicating and speaking to them? How are we showing some respect? How are we, if you do get a chance, whether you're at work, church, neighborhood, at the local basketball court, just saying, how you doing, your brother? How's it going? How you doing? Like, it starts in a mindset that we can switch. Then we have to then show up. I was having a conversation with our Mentor National Office with our person who handles all the data, and we got to this conversation about how much time does it really take to have an impact on a young person's life, right? There's some data points that said if you spend a minimum of an hour and a half a month for at least 6 months with a young person, you can have a difference in their life. Some people say, no, it got to be at least 4 or 5 hours a month. And then, so we were having this dialogue. He said, listen, the key critical element is being consistent. Right? So I tell people, here's how you eliminate the fear of being a mentor and having this expectation that you now have to be in this kid's life forever. Think about it as a relay race. You say, I'm going to commit to whatever the program is, 6 months, hour and a half a month, and then I'll re-up if I can. But if I can't, and you talked about this earlier in your introduction, what is my network look like that I can then pass this baton off for this young person to someone else, right? And we talked about this. The element that our young people need to know that there are consistent, positive adults in their life. Not just, and I know we want to put everything, say, on teachers and, well, they go to school, it's just, well, they need to start at home. Okay, that sounds great. Yes, we would love it if it started at home, absolutely, but I talked about that. We also know that teachers are right now overwhelmed, right? But they should be mentors too. What happens when they step out of school? What happens when they are walking home and they pass their house? What happens when they're, at the store or working at
when they have police contact?
When they have police contact. Because guess what? The SROs, I talked to this with Chief Norman, SROs should be mentors or mentor figures, right? And to a certain degree, some of them are, right? So I think we can change our city with a mentality. I have this, pie in the sky dream that we will refer to Milwaukee as the city of mentoring, right? Because you said the word, a phrase that we use as adults, a board of directors. What if we use that phrase with every young person going down to grade school? Like, hey, who's your mentor? I don't know. You got a basketball coach? What about your math teacher? What about, like, if we just start saying this, using the word mentor, and then understanding what that means.
School advisor?
We can start having them now thinking, ooh, I can go talk to Mr. Linnell in the advising office. He can help me through this situation, right? My coach knows as a mentor, it ain't about winning the game only. It's about
all the things you learn.
This is what we're trying to teach you.
Teammates and teamwork and
And so that's why I think it can literally change the city when we're collectively not running from my babies, not reinforcing that they're taking over. No, we have to change the narrative by showing them as adults. No, I got your back. This is what it looks like. Now, I will say this. You know my father, former drill sergeant in the Army, no nonsense. I always joking with him because when he tries to call himself mentoring, he go to drill sergeant mode. Right. I be like, Pops, you gotta ease up just a little bit. This. But I tell people, it's okay to have that drill sergeant. But what about the other 2 or 3 you have to help balance everything you're getting?
And sometimes you need a drill sergeant.
That's my point.
And instead of changing him, hear what he's saying.
And that's what I had to realize.
And then,
and that's what I had to realize. Like, you know what? No. They got to hear it. Because like he jokingly told me on the phone today when we were leaving, he was like, yeah, such and such called me OG. And I was like, yeah, well, you is, right? Like, but we need to surround ourselves, i.e. board of directors, i.e. mentors, with a variety of people who come with different perspectives. Because again, when I'm 12, I may not necessarily know what I want to do. But if I got different people in my life,
you'll know what not to do.
Bingo. You definitely know what not to do. Because the right people will be like, no. But if you got 5 different adults telling you, bro, the same thing, then you start to learn, like, okay, that's not good behavior. And I want to say this just for everybody that's listening. Since the little Bay Shore takeover, I've done several tabling events. Shout out to Alderwoman Charlene Moore that hosted one at the Bear Center. We did something now with the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra, and we asked every kid that came to our table, all in all, over those 2 days, it's about 300 kids. What were your thoughts about the teen takeover? 98% said terrible. Terrible. Right. One kid told me he knew about it, but he said, I wasn't going. I just went over to Mayfair Mall instead. And I was like, but that's why we got to start trusting our kids and seeing our kids in a better light. Then they're going to accept our mentorship better, too.
1 minute. What's the most important thing you want people to know about mentoring? Any
and everybody can be a mentor if they're willing to bring positive energy and bring their whole self along. Everyone has a story to tell. Dr. Ken said it earlier where you got to leave your, feelings at the door, so to speak, and come with willingness to help this young person. If you're willing to do that, we can transform our city, and our kids can see a better city through themselves. But you got to be willing to show up, be consistent. Remember my 3 things. Be open and vulnerable, be willing to share your story, and a commitment to cultural humility and cultural competence. And if you are willing to do those 3 things, you can be a great mentor.
Mr. Linnell Ramey, who is the executive director of Mentor Greater Milwaukee, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, brother. I appreciate it.
All right. If you want information, you can text to 833-212-1017, the word mentor, M-E-N-T-O-R. Text it to 833-212-1017. Get the website, go in, and become a mentor. I was about to say consider, but no, do it.
Be one.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. Top 5 at 5 is up next.
He's the voice for the people and the community's connection to change.
Regroup, rethink, and reshape, and get on the front lines. It's only to your benefit. I always tell people, you helping the overall ideal of a better community, it actually helps you out. It helps you out. It helps your family out. It's time. Do not bring that reactionary attitude into the new year. This is the best time to start fresh. This is the plot. They plot this out, and it's been going on for years. This is normal. This is the way it is. This is where we are right now. It's all buddy-buddy. And if you're not a part of the friend situation, you're not getting in. They don't want nobody getting in and seeing where the messy. That's why I'll never get in. Because they know I'm not going to play around about my community. They know I'm not going to sit in no meetings and see y'all shucking and jiving and sniggling and giggling and not say nothing about it. I'm going to tell you to shut up.
The Tory Lowe Show, weekdays from 1 to 4 p.m. Live on YouTube and right here on 101.7 The Truth.
Many of our most important memories are made at school. But for children like Victoria, the classroom can be a place of fear and isolation. She wore a bandage over her cleft every day, too shy to speak, too afraid to smile. Everything changed after one life-transforming surgery made possible by Smile Train. Today, Victoria's smile lights up her classroom, a symbol of confidence, connection, and new beginnings. Due to stigma, children with untreated clefts often miss out on school entirely. But thanks to Smile Train, students like Victoria are stepping into the classroom, raising their hands, and finding their voice. Smile Train partners with local experts to support with free cleft surgeries and other comprehensive care, empowering children to thrive in school and in life. Let's help every child walk into the classroom with confidence. Visit smiletrain.org/learn.
Until people come before profit. Until all energy is clean. Until the wild is truly free. Earth Justice will never rest. Earth Justice is a national legal nonprofit defending the planet and its people for nearly 50 years. Earth Justice has 150 full-time lawyers fighting in court for our planet's future and representing all clients free of charge. No one fights more cases on the environment than Earth Justice. And we win because these are fights we cannot lose. Until justice stands for all, Earth Justice will never rest. If you share our restless spirit and want to commit to fighting for a just and equitable future for everyone, go to earthjustice.org/neverrest. Earth Justice, because the Earth needs a good lawyer.
Listen to the man who tells you exactly how he sees it. The Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris every weekday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. on 101.7 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. Bringing you his authentic perspectives on important topics.
They live in suburbs together. They live in the city together. They hang out together, all in the same family. We're the only idiots that fight because we want our voice to only be on one side. Like, does that even make any sense? And when the side loses, you lose everything. They, on the other hand, have a voice no matter what because somebody that looks like them is always in control.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point.
Well, it's just a skewed system.
Of course it is.
It's a lot of judgment.
But answer my question, though. Should we let people go? Should we let people go? Like, let's just forget about bail altogether. And if your neighbor commits a homicide and kills people up, if you kill people and they next to you and you just let them come back and live right next to you, they can live upstairs from you. Let them come in your house.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point. This is the best radio show in the state of Wisconsin. Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 101.7 The Truth and The Truth app.
Now, he's the mayor of the city of Milwaukee. He's a young man. Give him a chance. I only complain about things that I care about. What I want you to do is pretend like I'm in St. Louis. And all I'm asking the mayor and the Common Council president and the Common Council, show me.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is Dr. Ken Harris.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. 2 minutes after the hour. Before we get started, I want to just dive in and let you know it's 66 degrees, feels like 66. The high was 75. The low tonight is 53. When you get a 20-some-odd, 15, 20 degree change in weather, you can pretty much automatically know it's going to rain. How do I know that? Because the chance of rain right now is at 17%. And at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, at 7 o'clock, it bumped to 100%. And it'll warm up about a few degrees. So know that it's going to come. And it's coming again. So be careful. If you're out, there's already, if I remember correctly, there's already for Madison, already for Milwaukee, there's a severe thunderstorm warning now in effect until 5:30. But that doesn't mean anything because it's going to be off and on and off and on and off and on all night long. So make sure that you're aware. Make sure that you check your people. Right now, it may not be raining, but it just might be the calm before the storm.
Number 5.
This from Fox6Now.com. The National Weather Service has issued a tornado watch for all, some of these little short things are in and out and in and out, but there's a tornado watch for all of southeastern Wisconsin until 10 o'clock tonight. That covers Dodge, Fond du Lac, Jefferson, Kenosha, Milwaukee, Ozaukee, Racine, Sheboygan, Walworth, Washington, and Waukesha County. That is all. So, a few minutes ago, about 15 minutes ago, severe thunderstorm warning was issued for parts of Jefferson County till 5:30, parts of Dodge County till 5:45. During the warning, they're expecting damaging hail and wind gusts that are possible. And WISN.com just put out another severe thunderstorm issued for southeastern Wisconsin. Be careful. If you got awakened this morning at 2 a.m. with the sirens, might just happen again, so you might want to be a little careful. Interesting.
Number 4.
Now on to national news from StraightArrowNews.com. As President Xi Jinping vowed today to play a constructive role in promoting peace talks in the Middle East, he reportedly floated a 4-point proposal that Chinese state media says calls for the upholding the principle of regional peaceful coexistence and respecting national sovereignty while underscoring the principles of coordinating development and security. Pakistan is also moving to host another roundtable between U.S. and Iran before ceasefire expires. First round in Islamabad had no agreement after a marathon 21 hours. Saudi Arabia is also pressing the U.S. to end the blockade and continue negotiations with Iran. What does that mean? That means that whether you like it or not, whatever President Donald Trump did is starting to work. He wanted to bring more countries to the table to pressure us or them in order to stop the war. And so what's happening is when other countries can't get through, they can't get their oil out. Now they have a vested interest. As long as they were letting China through, it was fine. Now China ships aren't getting through. Indian ships aren't getting through. All these other countries' ships, oil isn't getting through. Now everybody wants to talk. Well, I hope it works out. I hope something comes of it because it's just going to be more shooting. Speaking of shooting, word is it that shootings in Milwaukee are down. Well, kinda.
Number 3.
This from JS Online. Police data from the start of 2026 indicates crime in Milwaukee is decreasing from both 2024 and 2025. Law enforcement and city officials say they're collaborating between departments to do everything in their power to keep the trend continuing downward, but they're calling upon community members to do their part as well. Isn't that what they say all the time? Police Chief Jeffrey Norman said yesterday in a news conference, as everyone knows, the summer is right around the corner. This is our busy season, hot temperatures, hot tempers, people with nothing but time on their hands and unfortunately access to firearms. Milwaukee Police Department data shows that crime during the first quarter of 2026, Jan 1 through March 31st, decreased from its levels during the same period in 2025 in all categories except burglaries and thefts, which saw a 1% and 7% increase, respectively. Most other crime categories classified as Part 1 crimes by the FBI: homicide, rape, robbery, aggravated assault, human trafficking, auto theft, and arson, all felonies. Between those categories, the data showed the start of 2026 had a 14% decrease, got that wrong, in total violent crimes and an 8% decrease in property crimes from 2025. From 2024, there's a 28% decrease in violent crimes and a 12% decrease in property crimes. So it looks like Milwaukee might be getting a little better. Maybe.
Number 2.
This from CBS News or CBS.com. Milwaukee police are investigating a homicide after a 27-year-old was fatally shot yesterday around 5 a.m. at the corner of 7th and Mitchell. No suspects have been identified. Police are investigating what led up to the shooting. Of course, anyone with information is asked to contact the Milwaukee Police Department at 414-935-7360. That's 414-935-7360.
Number 1.
This also on CBS 58. We reported it yesterday. A 31-year-old suspect who was dead following an exchange of gunfire with police yesterday afternoon at 35th and National has been identified by the Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's Office as 31-year-old Nicholas Malowski. He exchanged gunfire with the police. The suspect was being sought in connection to a homicide near 7th and Mitchell Monday morning. Chief Norman said officers located the suspect after being involved in another shots fired near 36th and Sarnow. Around 4:47 p.m., Milwaukee police officers attempted to stop the vehicle. The suspect fled. A chase began, crashed at 35th near National Avenue. Police at that time, the suspect exited his vehicle, fired shots at officers who returned fire, striking him. The suspect was taken to an area hospital where he later died from his injuries. You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. When we come back, I want to talk about something that's tied to mentoring, tied to school, tied to MPS, tied to private school, tied to everybody. And I want to talk about reading and why it's fundamental.
Truth Nation, it's that time of year again for the Tory Lowe Community Cleanup. Mark your calendars for Saturday, April 18th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. as we'll be cleaning up the city on the walk. You can also safely get rid of hazardous household items thanks to MMST. Drop off your items from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at MLK Elementary School. We're talking things like all antifreeze, paint thinners, batteries, and pesticides. Sign up now at ToryLoweCleanup.com. The Tory Lowe Community Cleanup is sponsored by Milwaukee College Prep, Steinhoffels, Cousin Sub, and Waste Management.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
At Milwaukee College Prep, we don't leave success to chance. We're designed for it. With strong support, high expectations, and a team committed to excellence, our educators turn belief into outcomes every day. If you believe every child deserves an excellent education, join Milwaukee College Prep. Apply today. Visit mkeprep.com/jobs.
Sweet Talks Medical Spa in Menominee Falls. Skip the sterile clinical office feel. Sweet Talk stays on the cutting edge of beauty and wellness innovations in a vibrant, playful space, promoting self-love and confidence. Sweet Talk specializes in a range of treatments, including injectables, medical-grade skincare, weight loss, hormone therapies, and more. Not sure where to start? Sweet Talks offers comprehensive wellness consultations to create a customized plan centered around you. Because at Sweet Talks, your goals are their goals. Learn more at sweettalks.com.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Williams, and I want to share with you the role that diabetes has had in my family. I lost my grandmother at the early age of 64 due to complications with diabetes. She was warm, generous, and a constant encouragement for me to follow my heart. Did you know that African Americans experience chronic kidney disease at a rate that's 25% higher than white Americans? And we're almost 4 times more likely to develop kidney failure. Diabetes and high blood pressure are leading causes of kidney disease, which can result in kidney failure, needing dialysis, or a kidney transplant. The good news is that you have the power to check out how well your kidneys are doing and learn ways to prevent them from failing. So go to your doctor and get yourself checked out. Visit linkmylovetv.org to learn more. Get the facts. Get checked and get healthy.
More of Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harrison is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Butterfly in the sky, I can go twice as high. Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow. I can go anywhere.
Well, we can't take Zach nowhere. You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. If you don't know that, that's the Reading Rainbow. And who was the host? Who was the host of Reading Rainbow? And that's why LeVar Burton, the actor from Roots, black guy. Wow.
Never seen Roots.
What?
Thought Roots was a band.
Zach just said he's never seen Roots. I'm going to have to reevaluate your culture. You need to go back and watch Roots. Roots was on 5 days. Like, they used to have a movie that came on in the evening from 7 to 9 on ABC. ABC had a Monday night movie and a Tuesday night movie and a Wednesday. That's when it was really cheap to make movies, right? And you had people that worked for studios. They didn't work for, like, their own companies, so they made different movies with different studios. So if I had, Zach under contract, Zach was under contract to make, like, 4 movies this year. 5 movies. And so you were in 5 different movies.
All with the same people?
Oh, not the same people, but different, right? So if I got 15 people, I may get 2 or 3 of them and they make a movie. Then I get 2 or 3 different people. And so when they made Roots was on 5 straight nights for 2 hours each. It was unheard of. Now we watch it on Netflix like it's no big deal. But it was the most prolific TV show of its time. Alex Haley, the author, before he passed away, wrote the book about his heritage. So if you've ever heard the name Kunta Kinte, that's where it came from. And then, of course, later other things sparked with, other black cultural things like, Black Panther later in recent years and on. So we got Alex Haley to thank for that. Understanding the historical significance of one's roots and knowing where you come from, but also knowing where you are. And so one thing I'm going to talk about, I'm planning for next week, so Monday. Let me first say, tomorrow I've got 100 Black Men coming in. They've got a career and resource fair this weekend at Sherman Phoenix. So I'm going to have a couple of them come in and talk about it and talk about jobs and all that stuff. So that's one. The other thing is, next week, I want to dive into literacy. I've heard everybody talk about it. Tori's talked about it. Sherwin's talked about it. But I really want to take a look at the ways that we teach literacy, reading. We've got to go back to including phonics in our reading. We came up with this new way and we tossed all of our assets, all of our money, everything we had at this new reading scheme, and it didn't work. It failed. So next week, Monday, I want to dive into this thing we call reading. I'm trying to get a guest. So if you know of any people who want to talk about phonetic reading, like teaching phonics along with all the other stuff, you got to teach phonics so that they can read it and learn how to read at a young age. We've got people graduating from high school who don't know how to read. We've got people in 12th grade, senior, reading at a 4th grade reading level. That's not acceptable. You should be reading 2 grades above your grade level. If you're in 4th grade, you should be reading at a 6th grade level. Being proficient is not enough. So I want to dive into that. I'm going to be doing some deep diving over the weekend and talking to some of my educator friends that teach K-12 and really dive into What is it going to take to change the scores? So let's talk about that right quick. In grade 4, this is 2024, 2 years ago. So this is like data that's probably the best we have. 73% of MPS fourth graders scored below basic with an average score of 179. They need a 208. The average is 208 for large school districts, large city school districts. Average is 208. They're at 179. 73% of fourth graders. Now, we stopped teaching reading in third grade. And in fourth grade, we teach enrichment. You know, sentence structure and how to do all that in language arts and, participles and all that. You should know your vowels and your sounds and your all that by the time you get to third grade. I was a voracious reader. I loved to read. One, because I was the only boy in the house. I had 2 older sisters and a mother. And my escapism was reading. So that's what I did. And I've been reading books, cartoons, comic books, magazine. If I could read it, I tried to read it. Newspapers. Fourth grade, MPS. 73% are below basic. Now, that's below basic, not basic, below basic. And this is after the State Department of Public Instruction changed the structure and the titles so that they could soften it to make it seem like your kid is doing better than they are. But your child can't read. They're below basic. If you can't read words, you can't do math. You can't follow directions. You can't sign contract. Well, you can. You just won't know what it says. Let's look at 8th grade. Same year, 2024. Only 15% of 8th graders performed at or above proficient. That means at grade level. Like you can actually read. 15%. 15%. Think about that. Now, does that mean that the number 80, that the number 73 at below basic went to 85%? Quite possibly. It's a lot of kids missing. 15% at or above proficient. How do you become a medical doctor? How do you become a lawyer? Watch this. How do you become a chemist? How do you become an engineer? What if I don't want to do that? How do you read diagrams for electrical systems to become an electrician? How do you understand how to become a plumber? How do you understand welding? How do you follow directions? I can't follow the directions because I can't read. So if you try to teach me something and I forget, I can't go back and read directions on how to do it. I have to put it on YouTube and show you a video because that's the only way you're going to get it because you can't read. 15% 8th graders, we're talking 13, 14 years old, perform at or above proficiency. Only 15%. That means some of them can struggle. Now, we're not taking into account some kids are dyslexic and they have trouble reading. And if you have a comment about this, 833-212-1017, about literacy. We're not taking into account kids that have trouble reading, like dyslexia. But at some point, we have to equip our teachers, all of them. I don't care if you're a math teacher. I don't care if you're a social studies teacher. I don't care if you're a language arts teacher. Everybody needs to know how to teach a child how to read. And you can get a kid all zeros in reading, fail everything. They're going to still socially promote your kid to the next grade so they don't feel bad. Or is it so the school system doesn't feel bad? So here are the trends. Reading scores have dropped with 27% of students at basic proficiency in 2024, down from 33% in 2022. Now, we can only blame COVID for so long. COVID caused your kids couldn't read before COVID. The word is out now. So now you know they can't read. Before you had a question, can my kids read or not? I don't know. Now you know they can't read. You know it. So now what? So now what? It's unfortunate. But when you've got scores dropping, we already saw in fourth grade 73% scored below with an average score of 179, far below the 208 average for large city school districts. By eighth grade, 4 years later, only 15% of eighth graders performed at or above the proficiency level. And over time, those same kids and the kids coming before them, the scores are actually dropping. 27% at basic proficiency, 2024. I'm sorry, 27%, I think I said that, of students at basic proficiency in 2024, down from 33%. So as the kids go into the system, they already don't know how to read, and they're not learning to read. The most challenging thing for me, and the thing that drove me, is this is the fifth or sixth time I've heard it in a couple days. Wisconsin has the largest and the widest gap in the nation in reading scores between black and white kids. You hear me? The largest. Now, I've heard experts say that. If you Google it, Google will tell you Wisconsin has one of the widest gaps, because even Google and ChatGPT and other AI will soften the numbers to make it not seem as bad as it really is. That's a problem all by itself, which is another reason why you can't really trust AI. You got to verify it. The widest gap in the country is right here. I heard somebody say that the worst thing for black kids and black people in America, second to guns and us killing each other, are teachers' unions. And it's a euphemism. It's hyperbole, of course. It's not literal. Teachers' unions, who have put roadblock after roadblock after roadblock after roadblock, only caring about themselves and their dues. They showed it when Posley was in. The argument was whether or not the teachers were going to get their raise, did not care about the kids. Because if the students are taking care of the kids, the teachers should be taking care. If the teachers are taking care of the kids, then the teachers should be taken care of. And it's a hard job to be a teacher. Make no mistake about that. That is a calling. And it's gotten worse and worse and worse and worse. So what can we do to help them? We need to retool how we teach our children how to read. Because if you can't read, you can't do anything in life. You cannot function in life. You have to watch. You can't even get a driver license. Think about that. Because you have to know how to read. And I see how some of y'all drive. So I don't know. Y'all be, yeah. I see how y'all drive. So Monday, we're going to be diving into literacy. If you know of any guests, if you know of any people that we need to have in the studio or talk to talk about how we're teaching our children how to read in Milwaukee, hit me on the talk and text line at 833-212-1017, or you can go to YouTube, to the YouTube chat at 101.7thetruth.com. And you can do that. A couple things before we take a break. My poll question: mentoring can change the lives of Milwaukee youth. True or false? Can it? Can it not? We just talked an hour with Linnell Ramey, Executive Director of Mentor Greater Milwaukee. Can or does it or will it, do you agree with the statement, mentoring can change the lives of Milwaukee youth? True or false? It's a really simple one. True or false? 833-212-1017 is the number. When we come back, I guess I should ask Zach this question when we come back.
Wait. Are you sure it's true or false? Because you know they were getting on me yesterday when I put true or false, and they were like, it should be yes or no.
True. Do you agree with mentoring can change the lives of Milwaukee youth? True or false? Is that statement true or is it false? And y'all leave Zach alone. 833-212-1017 is the number. When we come back, I got a question, and I'm going to ask Zach the question first. Is your car your personality? And now with the final traffic check of the day on 101.7 The Truth, here's Debbie Lazaga.
Looks like we've got issues on southbound 43. The center lane, actually northbound, the center lane's blocked with a broken down vehicle on 4394 northbound at National Avenue. So that is going to be affecting your ride. We've got backups coming up from Chase Avenue up to that point. And then beyond that, it's going to stay a bit heavy from Kilbourne up to North Avenue. On the southbound side, got backups from Capitol Drive all the way down through the Marquette to the KK River crossing. Westbound 894, heavy out of the Mitchell interchange to Loomis. Southbound on the bypass going through the Zoo interchange, going to be heavy all the way down to Lincoln, back on the brakes just before Beloit Road, down and around the Hale to just past Forest Home. A couple more pockets of heavy traffic past Loomis. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast, a tornado watch for all of southern Wisconsin until 10 p.m. Tonight, thunderstorms likely. Some of them may be strong, a low of 52. Tomorrow, rain and thunderstorms likely with a high of 68. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 101.7 The Truth.
Join Cousins Club Rewards today. Grab your first sub and your next one could be free. After your first qualifying purchase, you'll earn a free sub and start collecting points for free food, exclusive deals, and even Cousins gear. Sign up today. It's fast and easier than ever on the Cousins Subs app. Earn points online, on the app, or in store. However you enjoy Cousins Subs, your rewards are right at your fingertips. Cousins Subs. We believe in better.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer, providing equal employment, development, and advancement opportunities to all teammates and applicants. To learn more about careers with us, please send an email to talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com. That's talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com.
Did you know that for 80 years, Paralyzed Veterans of America has been a lifeline for our nation's veterans with spinal cord injuries and diseases like MS and ALS, and all people with disabilities? In just the last 12 months, PVA has funded research of the first non-addictive pain medication in over a decade, partnered with an award-winning sports anchor to fight for accessible medical care for women veterans, ensured all women with disabilities feel seen and empowered with help from a top cosmetic company. And that doesn't even include what PVA have done over the last 80 years, like secured the passage of the Americans with Disabilities Act, pioneered wheelchair basketball, helped design iconic landmarks, made the DC Metro a model transit system, and wrote and distributed resources in over 60 countries in 4 languages. None of this would be possible without your help. Every breakthrough, every battle won, and every life impacted is driven by you. Visit PVA.org to learn more.
Hey there, Jane Lynch here. You want to hear something funny? Too bad. You want to hear something uplifting that will inspire you? Good. Because today, I want to talk to you about Direct Relief, a humanitarian organization that does seriously good work when it counts. Fires, hurricanes, earthquakes. When disaster strikes, Direct Relief immediately shows up with medicines, medical supplies, and everything doctors and nurses need to save lives. Let's ship her out! Every day across the United States and around the world, they're making an enormous difference. If someone needs help, Direct Relief helps. No politics, no red tape. Hey, what you doing over there?
Oh, I'm packing insulin for kids with diabetes.
See, every box here is literally a lifeline for someone in critical need. So check them out at directrelief.org and donate if you can. You might just bring a smile to someone's face.
This True Sports Update is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Andrew Zimmel. The Brewers return from a day off, starting a 3-game series tonight against the Toronto Blue Jays. The Crew look to snap a 5-game losing streak, but injuries continue to pile up. Manager Pat Murphy this morning on 620 discussing All-Star Christian Yelich's injury.
Got an adductor strain, which is kind of at the attachment point above the hamstring. That's gonna put him on the IL. And we're going to make sure that that doesn't become chronic, and we get after it. So we expect him to be out for a while.
Milwaukee's ace Jacob Mizorowski starts tonight for Milwaukee. A 6:40 pitch at American Family Field. Coverage begins at 6 p.m. And the NBA playoffs begin tonight with the play-in games. The Miami Heat take on the Charlotte Hornets in the 9 versus 10 place game. And later, the Portland Trailblazers take on the Phoenix Suns to fight for 7th and 8th place in the West. This True Sports Update was powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Andrew Zimmel.
You are listening to Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I'm not a shy little girl, I'm a wizard. With a pearl in my hand, with a heavy dose of adrenaline, call me a chemical man. A shy girl, I'm a wizard. Do I have to say it again? I'm like a mystic stuck on a gumball. Decorate me with the stars. Yeah, I wanna fly.
I like to sing this song.
Desolate space in my body. Yeah, I wonder why. Open me up if you dare.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. Our poll question: mentoring can change the lives of Milwaukee's youth. True or false? Currently, 100% said true. And I have to agree. 833-212-1017 is the number. Before the break, we were talking about whether or not what was I talking about? My brain just went. We were talking about reading, and we were talking about, how that's going to help kids grow and expand and learn and all those things, and teachers and school unions and all that. Is that straight drop int? I don't know that. Anyway, Mr. said, I'm 42 and teachers aren't the same since that No Child Left Behind blankety blank. No, it's like they don't care because they got to pass the kid regardless. They messed up kids. Some kids need to repeat the grade. Yes, they do. However, I wouldn't blame No Child Left Behind. Here's why I say that. School districts bastardized No Child Left Behind. Instead of doing the whole program, they took components of the program, did it. It doesn't work. And I've given that example before. If I tell you to put 4 wheels on your car and you put 3 on it and it doesn't work, you can't say the wheels didn't work. If you put a flat one on and 2 and 3 tires with air and it runs kind of raggedy, but it moves, you can't say you're successful because it moves. You got to do it all. You got to do the program. Then if the program doesn't work, then get rid of it. But again, people only blame what they don't like. So when I hear all Republicans and they complain about something that didn't work and a Democrat came up with it, I question it. When I hear mostly Democrats, which is who our teachers are, complain about something and a Republican president came up with it, I question it. Why? Because we use our personal beliefs and our personal things to stop things that are good for other people. You just don't like the person. Well, I don't like that person. They're Democrat, so I'm going to just be against. It's like Robin Voss. I'm going to be against everything Democrats do no matter what, even if it makes sense, even if it's good, because we don't want to give them any positive publicity. Meanwhile, state of Wisconsin suffers. And here we are. Al, you're on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth.
Yeah, other thing I wanted to say, I think mentoring is good, and if the best, if a child or a young man want to get some good wisdom, if they can't get it from a mentor, sit down and talk. I don't like saying seniors. Talk to somebody that's senior, that's seasoned.
Like me. Seasoned.
Yeah, because they can give you something that you might not be able to get in your household, and they will tell you about all walks in life and situations on how to go about it. But the only thing they got to be willing to do is listen. And if they sit down and listen, they can get something from them that will help them go as far as the skies go. So if they don't have a mentor, if they just find a person who sees them and say, well, let me talk to you, they can learn a lot of wisdom, a lot of understanding, and know how to deal with a lot of situations if they sit down and just listen. And that is one thing in reality that they will never lose if they just sit down and listen to somebody who's seasoned.
All right.
Have a great day.
Thank you much. Eloquently said. Very much so. 833-212-1017 is the number. You got any comments about anything that's been happening on the show today, feel free to reach out. So I had a question and I had a comment, and I meant to ask Zach because I said, is your car what kind of car you drive?
I don't want to say that.
Well, the color?
I don't want to say that either.
Why?
Because I just don't.
You don't want to give out your personal information?
No.
I was going to give out your phone number.
Nope.
Your full name, your phone number, your zip code, your date of birth.
No, I'm not a fan of my car, but it gets me from A to B.
Ah, okay.
I can't say anything.
So what you're saying is that your car is literally not your personality.
I didn't want it, no.
Okay. Was it given to you?
No, I had no choice but to get it.
Ah, because your other one went kaput? Or you didn't have one, period? See, I had to get a car. I'm trying to think, did I have a car in Chicago? No. My wife had a car in Chicago. I didn't have a car. And then when I had to come get a job in Milwaukee and had to drive back and forth every day, I had to go buy a car. And so I had to go to a credit union and get a car and get a loan and went and had to get a car. And then let me see. So let me think of the cars I've owned. Let me see. I've owned I can't remember the name of that car. It was a big four-door maroon car. Can't remember. It was my first car it was my second car I bought. First car I bought was a yellow two-door Volkswagen Beetle. That was my absolute first one. And then my second one was that maroon car. And then my third one was a four-door Ford. I can't remember the name of it. It was a manual. It was a 5-speed. I like driving manual, so terrible on the brakes, but hey, terrible on the clutch. But what can I say? And then I went from there to, what did I go to? A GMC Envoy 4-door. And then I drove the GMC Envoy for a bazillion years, until I ended up buying a Mercedes. And so now I'm on the downward trek. Like I'm on my way down to like Toyota Corolla, Nissan Altima, right? Going down. I'm going back down because, yeah. I think the more successful I get, the less car I'm going to drive. I don't have to reflect it in a car or a house that's, like 4 bedrooms, 9 bedrooms, and 8 baths. And it's just, for me, not saying about anybody else, for me, that's a little ostentatious. It's a little too much. It's a little bit too much. And because of that, right, my question to you, why do you drive the car you drive? 833-212-1017. Anybody want to share? Why do you drive the car you drive? Was it necessity? Was it the only car you had? Did someone pass away and say, hey, here's a car? Now, I've given away cars. You know, my daughter drove a little hoopty, and she went off and moved and got a job and moved out of state. And then my younger daughter drove the car to school, and she drove the wheels off. And then when it got older and okay, so you got a car, I got a car, we got an extra car. Where does the car come from? We gave it away. We just took it and said, hey, you need a car? It's like, yeah, here you go. Transfer the title online, done. And gave him the car. And so I was able to do that, but that's only because, you know, that was quite the blessing. But I think cars reflect your personality. Now, for me, the color of a car is important. I'm never driving a black car. They get dirty. Oh, my gosh. You breathe on it, the car's dirty, you got to clean it. And I'm one of those people where I can only take a dirty car for like maybe a day and a half. Like I had to fight not going to the car wash, even though because it did all the rain and all that, all those little budding leaves that didn't bud, fell off the tree, they was all on my car. And I almost went to the car wash and I realized it's going to rain tonight. So it doesn't make any sense. I would go to the car wash, waste $15, sit there, and then had the same thing happen tonight. Miles said, I am a Benz, but the way my bank account is set up does not allow me to own one. Really? How you pay for it? How you pay for it? I've owned 2 new cars in my entire life. Two. The 4-door manual Ford and the one I have now, which is a 2025. Like, not my car, but the other car in the house. I can't, I buy car used. 3 years, this is what I do. Not giving advice. 3 years old with about 25, maybe 30,000 miles. Drove off all the warranties, and it's usually still under warranty, stuff like that. And then I'm done. But I'm from a generation where we like cars. You know, we follow cars. We, do cars. Remember, the poll question is mentoring can change the lives of Milwaukee's youth. True or false? So that's the poll question. So make sure you jump in and do that. But cars, I don't really care. I used to care. People go see you in the car, it's beat up, and is this. Now I can appreciate an old car. I can appreciate a car that's old. And I don't want a really new car because eventually it's going to fail and I'm going to be like, ugh. So I'm going to drive slower. Zach, you'll appreciate this. I had to go get my brakes done today. It's going to cost me over $1,000 to get brakes done on all 4 wheels. Guess when the last time I had my brakes done? I never had my brakes done. I've owned the car since 2017. It's 2026, and I finally have to get brakes. I don't step on my brakes hard. I don't speed from stops hard. I don't do any of that. And I don't drive like I'm old. I do the speed limit. I might do maybe 5 over, and that's about it. And I slow down significantly before the corner comes, before the exit comes, before I don't have to jam on my brakes and stop and not run into the intersection. I'm very, very light on my brakes. Now, I got some other people in my family that are not light on brakes. Guess what? I don't let them use my car. I can tell when somebody else drove my car and rode the brakes, they're just sluggish. They're soft, and I'm like, eh. But it's taken that long from 2017, so that's 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. 9 years driving a car without needing brakes. They said, I'm just at the point where I need brakes and probably rotors. They said they'll look at the calipers, and I'm like, I'm just at that point where, because I heard it go, and I went, oh, that was my brakes. And I'm one of those people. When I hear the sound, I take it in, get it looked at. Okay, we're done. Especially with brakes. Now, a broken light, I get around to it. But the potholes we got in town, every time I hit a pothole, one of my lights goes out because the potholes are that bad. They're terrible. They're disgusting. They are terrible. But I digress. So I think cars are your personality. I think they reflect who you are. I think the colors definitely reflect who you are. Of course, I'll never have a red car. I had a maroon car, didn't like it. I'll never, if a red car was the only car I had to drive, I would not sell it. A guy tried to sell me a red car and said they didn't have any other cars available, which was a racist, bald-faced lie, but that's what I get for trying to buy a car at a dealership on the south side of Milwaukee. And I'll never own a red car. Like, nobody in my family will ever own a red car. I will disown them. I will stop speaking to them. You can have a blue car. You can have a brown car. You can have a turquoise car. But I will not speak to you if you drive a red car. And if you're tough enough, and I mean really tough, I might tell you why. You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. We got weather, and we're out of here. And the poll up next.
The pulse of the Milwaukee Bucks, straight from a Bucks legend.
Can't get it off. Marcus Johnson will, though. Can't leave him alone for a 12.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson on Bucks Plus. Marcus and his son Chris offer a weekly beat on Bucks basketball. Get your questions answered and hear from the biggest names in basketball. Find Here District with Marcus Johnson at bucks.com/plus on the Bucks app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Still think you're going to use those old chemicals just sitting around under the sink, in the garage, or down in the basement? So don't let them sit there. Get rid of them right away to MMSD's Home Hazmat Drop-Off Centers. It's safe, it's easy, and it's open to all Milwaukee County residents. There are 3 locations open year-round. The Torilo Community Cleanup is happening April 18th and with a mobile drop-off to help you clear out that waste. Visit us at MLK Elementary School at 3275 North 3rd Street from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Let's clean up Milwaukee.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
And so did you.
When you raised your hand and swore an oath to your country, when you put your name on a dotted line, you became part of only 1% of Americans who did the same. You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran. Because no matter when, where, or how you served, you made a sacrifice for your country, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Reach out to a loved one, to a fellow veteran, to VA.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Prizes, exclusive experiences, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting truthcontests.com. That's truthcontests.com.
Happy kids heal faster, and that's why Starlight is dedicated to improving the mental well-being of sick kids across the U.S. Learn how at starlight.org.
Call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
This is Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Hey, I want to remind everybody, tune in to the award-winning 1017 The Truth Milwaukee Business Spotlight this Thursday at 3:57 between Tori Lowe Show and me. Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris. Kyle Wallace will be joined by Maddie Herbert, Operations Headmaster at Sweet Talks Med Spa. They will be discussing the total Sweet Talks experience and how you can get your self-love journey started. So, Again, tune in to Milwaukee Business Spotlight with Sweet Talks Med Spa this Thursday, 3:57, right here on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. Mentoring can change the lives of youth. 100% said true. You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. Tori Lowe's show is coming up next, and you can listen through. And tomorrow, 100 Black men talking about their career and resource fair coming up on Saturday. We got the community cleanup, so you can lead a community cleanup and come over to the resource fair at, all right? Tune in tomorrow to find out. Want to say thank you. God bless. Take care. Have a great one. Thank you, Zach. Be careful. Watch the weather. Stay alert. Listen for emergency management if they hit the siren again. Tornado watch till 10 o'clock tonight. God bless. I'm out.
Be quiet.